Welcome to Liberty Nation TV. This is your host, Scott DeCasenza, and I'm with Mark Angelides, our managing editor and UK resident, with a perspective on the recent NATO goings-on. We have President Trump over in Europe attending a set of NATO meetings. What is the feeling over there, Mark?
Hey, Scott. Well, that really depends on your perspective. So if you're in the news media, you're waiting for Trump to do his usual wild card thing. So despite all the background briefings that take place that discuss these are what the leaders will talk about, these are the no-go zones, these always take place, but Trump never really sticks to them. He just kind of does what he wants to do, all the while tweeting with his other hand. Now, if you're a politician who's involved in this stuff, it's very much it's called a Trump-centric meeting. Various world leaders, that they're going to need Trump's support to deal with the Turkey and Syria situation. It's going to be pretty scary for them because they don't. Trump isn't really part of their cozy group in this. He'll say and do whatever he wants and really just let the globalists hang out in the wind. So what's happening is could be chaos. We'll be keeping an eye on it.
Mark, didn't French President Emmanuel Macron have something choice comments, let's say, about NATO?
Yeah, he said that essentially that NATO was brain dead, his words, brain dead, and talked about how they're not cooperating as a unit, and that much of this is due to the US not putting its full weight behind the alliance.
How is that impacting events?
Well, it is. I mean, it's a major issue because, in all honesty, NATO needs the US, not the other way around. Whereas France, on the other hand, it needs to remain a key player within this alliance. And I suspect there's more to do here with Macron feeling as though he's losing influence, because he was, of course, the poster boy for globalism at one point, and now he's sort of on the outside. So I expect a lot of this is about power and lack of it.
Well, then, with that, what is the messaging then that we're going to see coming out of this series of meetings?
Well, as always, they will have an official message and an unofficial message. The official message will be that we're operating in unity and cooperation, despite what our eyes might tell us. Turkey's President Erdogan will be making a lot of demands. That's the big thing here. And European leaders will be dismissing those demands, at least in public. They'll put some some spin on things and say that this is not acceptable. You can't have these type of radars, as they're called, which we'll get into later. But behind closed doors, I suspect there'll be a lot more acquiescent to his demands there. But it's really, Scott, to be completely honest with you, it's all one big kabuki theater. And this is because President Macron was right in one sense. Without the US, NATO is far weaker than it's ever been, without the US being the driving force behind it. And what these European leaders have to fall back on, Angela Merkel, Boris Johnson even, Emmanuel Macron, what they have to fall back on is essentially the founding of a European army, which is it's a lot of different armies from different nations being essentially shanghaied into an umbrella organization, which is it's called PESCO, which is Permanent Structured Cooperation for a European army, essentially. And so there's no reason for Donald Trump to be putting effort into NATO if the European leaders are putting all their time and efforts into this Permanent Structured Cooperation or European army.
Mark, you're a resident, a citizen of the UK, and a liberty-minded person. So that's why I want to ask you this question from your perspective. From my perspective, as a liberty-minded person in the United States, I see NATO as kind of an organization without much purpose in the current age, and not a blanket of protection, but more unwieldy obligation, I think. And I'm wondering, what is your perspective? Do you see it as a protective blanket or some mixed thing, or not at all?
I don't see it as a protective blanket at all, really. What I see it as, it's a club in which people can, I mean, this is what it is now. It's a club in which they can get together and discuss and form alliances, because, there's the number one NATO rule that, you go for one, you go for all. But really,
So
what's
just
happening?
for people who don't, so I think probably a lot of people don't know this. It's a joint defense agreement. It says that if you, for instance, UK is attacked tomorrow by Russia, we're going to come to your aid militarily. It's a common defense agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. But really what this is about, it's about forming side agreements. So these leaders get together and they talk about, well, we've got to stick with the NATO supreme goal. But there are many things that you and I can do together. We can make a backroom deal that perhaps, if we do a deal on this, then you can help me out and put a bit of pressure on it from this angle. It's very much a backroom boys club.
Okay. Well, thank you for your report, Mr. Mark Angelides, managing editor of LibertyNation.com. This is your host, Scott DeCosenza. Thanks for watching.
Hi, folks. Lisa K. Donner here, editor-in-chief of LibertyNation.com. We hope you enjoyed watching this video, maybe even learned a thing or two. If so, please take a moment and subscribe to our YouTube channel right down there in the corner. Thanks so much.